Okay, can I just give a disclaimer first? Like
Sure.
I am about peace. I am about compassion, and I like to be zen. But there is still a part of me that can get pretty worked up about being served meat when I say, "Hey, I want to order your." I'm looking at the menu. I want to order your um, black bean veggie burger. Like that's what you have on the menu.
Mm.
But when the order was up, I got it in. Now I know to do this because I could have just bitten into it, but I opened up the hamburger, cut it in half, and it was a turkey burger. The length of our intestines, small and large, is
Mm.
I now of course I'm gonna gap on the actual number, but it's very long. But it's just wrapped up into our
Yeah. Yeah.
body.
Packed in a
So
little. Yeah.
so it's a lot that you might need to be
Deal with.
eliminated.
Hey, everybody, as we continue with our conversation about what's killing us. That's right. We've been talking about this because I want to make sure that we don't simply rely on potion pills and propaganda and shots and everything else to solve our problems, but there are other pieces of this puzzle that we can do to help aid our own health and to make positive changes for ourselves. And as a result of that, I've been talking to a lot of people with varying perspectives on this topic. So today, I'm continuing a conversation that started in Accra, Ghana, with Harriett Pritchett. She was on one of our Gateway Experience tours last summer, and we said we would pick up the conversation again. And so here we are today, continuing this conversation. So how you doing, Harriet? How's everything?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Listen, still thinking about the trip, what a good time it was, and looking forward to the opportunity to go on another tour.
Yeah, I heard a rumor that you were planning to go with us to another destination. So that's we got a lot of folks from Ghana going on these destinations because they know that we put a lot into it. So that's good, and we're glad that glad that you joined us in Ghana, and glad that you'll be joining us in the future. But today, what I want to talk about is something that we skimmed on a little bit in our previous interview, was your lifestyle choice as far as food consumption. And so you are 100% plant-based.
Right.
And a lot of people I've been running into, I mean, people every day, it feels like I'm surrounded by plant-based only people. And I said, well, what is this? What's happening? What are y'all trying to tell me? But I'm surrounded by, but I'll tell you this: everyone that I see who's like that appears to be very healthy and don't suffer from a lot of the ailments that I see from those who may eat other foods that may not be as healthy. So anyway, tell us a little bit about your story, why you decided to be plant based, and we'll take it from there.
Sure, sure. So I'm not sure where we left off. I need to go back and see kind of where we
We just
uh,
started.
put
Yeah, we,
a
we
put a
just
put
started.
a we put a pin in the conversation. So I'd like to pick back up from there, but I'll just tell you kind of me overall. I've always been health conscious, and I think that from a fitness aspect and trying to exercise and do things like that, it's always been really helpful for me. And I even tried to go plant based a while back, maybe 15 years ago. I was attempting to take on like a no meat diet. And there wasn't as much information as readily available as it is now. Like, the options that you have at restaurants and grocery stores, it's definitely come a long way since then. And for me at that time, I think I gave it a try for about 3 months. And I will admit at that time, the goal was weight loss, but I wasn't successful with it because I cut out meat, but then I started overloading on things like carbs and was having a whole bunch of cravings. So was, eating a lot of sugar. So it kind of backfired. And stepped away from it until around about the year 2016/17. Again, health conscious, always trying to be on that next thing. A friend of mine suggested like that for the new year, we do this juice fast. We go on a juice fast. It's like 3 to 5 days where all you consume is raw fruit, vegetable juices, and you might do water, you might do teas, but it's no solid foods. And I just did one too. I just did one. I do it every year now.
I won't ask about the details. I'll leave that alone.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to get into TMI in the conversation. So, but that to me was kind of the start of where I'm at now, because first of all, it was a successful 3 days of just doing the juicing. What happened was I was able to reset my palate, if that makes sense, reset my taste buds. And I started realizing like, oh, okay, well, now I don't have a craving for coffee anymore. And I'm a coffee addict, right? Like, it's like I had enough energy in the mornings because of all the like vitamins, minerals, nutrients and stuff that's in these juices. So I wasn't craving coffee. I started losing my like appetite for alcohol. Like as a social drinker, you look forward to Friday, you want to go to happy hour, have your margarita. Like in Texas, okay, Houston, Texas, margarita with salt on the rim, that's our thing.
Okay.
I wasn't into it. I just didn't want that. And then from there, that's when I started to kind of exclude meat from my diet as well. And I didn't do it all at once, right? This is over time. It's over time. And I think what happened was I started realizing like, okay, I have more energy now. I have more mental clarity. Like I'm feeling like a sense of peace that's coming over me. Like the way I responded to stressful situations on the standard American diet is different than the way I respond to the stressful, irritating situations now.
So you would just like go off on people before, just go straight off, just go buck wild on them, because you had all the other stuff going, and then you get rid of it, and now you're like, okay, you don't go off to the same extent. Is that a good assessment?
I think that's a perfect assessment because, truth be told, we all lose our temper, right?
I have in my life. I've been told that it's not anything that is pleasant to be around. So I have been told.
Plant-based. Go plant-based.
Somebody said anger issues and all that. Go plant-based. I tell you, the plants are bailing you out. Now I do have a question because you were saying something. Do you have all right? So when you went meatless, was it like one day you just said, okay, that's it? Or was it like, all right, I'm gonna do weekends, meat only? Because a lot of people are curious about this lifestyle choice, but they just don't know where to begin, how to begin. What did someone do in order to do this? They know that for them, they want to explore this. For others, they're like, hey, they want their meat. They kind of, because there are other diet plans out here that say, hey, go heavy on the animal-based protein. But for those who are looking to, I guess, change, was it something that you did overnight, or was it a gradual process?
It definitely was not overnight. It wasn't overnight, but I tell you what I can give myself credit for and what I'm happy about, it was definitely progressing forward though over time. And so the year, I kind of did the reset with the juice fast and everything. By that summer, I was already eliminating completely beef and pork. Now, my upbringing, I was raised Muslim, so we didn't eat pork anyway. That was a forbidden, food. Like it was,
okay,
not allowed for us to eat pork. So that part was easy, but I was eliminating beef and pork. And then, probably 6 months later, 2017 for sure, I was completely off of beef, pork, chicken. And then later in that year, that's when I started to like eliminate fish. And so it's when I look at the timeline, it's kind of like, yeah, I did the reset and I was able to, change what I had a craving for and kind of change my whole palate. But I have to also mention some of the things that some of the research that I was doing. Like you have probably heard a lot of people say, oh, the documentaries
Yes.
that you watch really put the research together, and it can show you, different perspectives, whether it's from a health conscious perspective, whether it's like you're like an ethical, because it's if you're an ethical vegan, then you're concerned about the treatment of animals and how they're processed and what it is that you're really ingesting. You know what I mean? Yeah, we don't see what happens behind the scenes to get that, delicious hamburger on the plate. It's like all the brutality, and then, just
Yeah, I think in What the Health, I think that's where they showed the pig farm in North Carolina and the
mhm.
chickens that could barely stand up.
Right, exactly. So
And
things like that.
yeah.
Yeah, and the more you watch that, some people say they can watch it and they'll go get their 3 piece with a biscuit, no problem.
Mhm.
But I watched it and it was kind of touching on, something for me, just in how I know there's a lot of injustices with people. And you think about that, and where's the compassion and all that? Like, just because they're animals don't mean they're not sentient beings, and like, they have certain levels of intelligence, and they know that they're going to die and they don't want to die, right? So it's starting to think about all that, and it's like, wow, what can I do to help eliminate some of that? So that's the ethical vegan side of
So
it.
so that's the perspective that you come from, is not only from your personal health perspective, but also from the well-being and health of the animals that are being slaughtered, if you will, in the
Right.
processing of the different meats that we eat as a part of our diets.
Right. Right. I think being exposed to some of that research and seeing some of those films definitely gave me some of that perspective, and how I consider, like, okay, well, what are my principles gonna be, and how am I gonna take this on as a lifestyle? So that's part of it too. It was like, yeah, I did a reset in terms of, doing the juice fast, but it's also watching some of those documentaries and just seeing what's really happening behind the scenes in animal agriculture and the industrial farming and the
Mhm.
corruption in, these corporate industries that
So it
we're
had
con- that
Go
we're
ahead.
contributing to. No, I was just going to say that we're contributing to.
And that's another perspective again, that because our culture tries to hide so many things from us, it makes it very interesting when you begin to learn the behind the scenes, because as a part of this whole series that I'm doing, I'm talking about potions, pills, and propaganda. And
Mm,
yeah, as a part, what's killing us, because the question that I have, and some people may like me asking the question, some people may not, but I don't care, because guess what? I'm going to ask the question, is the fact that why don't we place emphasis on good health over the potions, the pills, the shots, all these things that's going on, especially what we see with the different mandates that are happening. My question is,
yeah,
well, then why don't we mandate these restaurants to stop serving this food that helps to contribute towards these underlying health conditions? We have food chemicals in our foods that's legal in America, but it's
mm,
illegal in other countries that we might deem to be third world or whatever. So you wonder what's going on here. And then when somebody asks the question, then it's like the propaganda Gestapo comes to try to shut people down from asking questions when the question needs to be asked. You want me to get a shot, you mandate it, you threaten livelihoods behind it, but at the same time, you don't threaten these corporations that are out here peddling these things that are creating the underlying conditions. So that's my soapbox that I got on there for a second. So I feel you when you talk about it being deeper than just eating meat for yourself, but it's also being concerned about the industry and then the mistreatment of animals, based upon the research that you've seen. Now, you almost had a mishap today at the airport.
It happens. It happens on a like weekly basis. Being
So
on
you,
the go, you're not eating at home, it's gonna happen.
so tell me what happened. I mean, you gave me a little insight, but I stopped the conversation because I said, wait, that sounds like that could go somewhere.
Okay, can I just give a disclaimer first? Like
Sure.
I am about peace. I am about compassion, and I like to be zen. But there is still a part of me that can get pretty worked up about being served meat when I say, hey, I want to order your, I'm looking at the menu, I want to order your um, black bean veggie burger. Like that's what you have on the menu.
Mhm.
But, when the order was up, I got it in. Now I know to do this because I could have just bitten into it, but I opened up the hamburger, cut it in half, and it was a turkey burger.
Now let
So
me
I was
ask you
like,
this. I got to ask you this though, because all of us out here wondering, and back in the day they call it TV land, YouTube streets, so whatever, Facebook, wherever you watching this, Instagram. Do you ever have the inkling to want to get a good turkey burger, good hamburger, good? Do you ever, like, if you smell it, and it's like, does it ever resonate with you to say, let me just go, just try it one time? Does that ever happen?
not with land animals. The only
Okay.
thing that I miss is seafood. Like
Okay.
when we were in Accra, it was very hard for me to look at that fish, all those fish dishes, because all of that looked good. So the answer is, when I saw the turkey burger, I was disgusted. I, I
Got
don't
you.
I don't have a desire to eat flesh. But I do miss seafood, just to keep it real.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
And something in Houston, and well, I say, yeah, so Texas and Louisiana, we have a crawfish, which is more of a social event than a meal, really. But
right.
it's like,
That's like crabs up here in Maryland.
exactly,
Right.
exactly. So whenever when it's crawfish season, I do kind of miss that. But no, I was pissed. I was upset when I saw
No.
the
So when you saw
um,
that turkey burger, that set it off. That almost brought out some of the ratchet side. It was the moment was there.
and I try to approach it like, okay, they don't. So something that I went and looked at is, the number of plant-based vegan people just across the board under the umbrella of vegan, vegetarianism, um, pescatarian, all of that. Like it's only 0.1% of the population. So there's like 10 million vegan people in the United States, 79 million worldwide. And then they break it down and like show you like country by country and continent. I couldn't really tell what it was for Africa or any of the African countries, but I know that there has to be some there. So there are very few people. I'm saying I would say there are very few people who have these preferences, and when you're in the hospitality industry, you're gonna lean more towards what the majority wants. So I
Absolutely.
try to empathize with that and like, all right, it's a turkey burger. Okay. Ma'am, this is a turkey burger. Can we change this out? So yeah, that's what happened.
Well, I do have another question, and this you knew this question was coming up.
Okay.
Have you ever, like, because a lot of times people do it for weight loss. Have you ever been like overweight or anything like that?
I've been heavier. I've been heavier. Now I'm sitting down right now, but I'm just the fact of the matter is I'm tall for a woman. Um, so my doctors have never told me that I'm obese or overweight, but I've definitely been heavier. And remember, that was even some of my motivation 15 years ago to try veganism, because I needed to lose weight. I wanted to lose weight. Um, yeah, but it didn't work out at that time.
You know, I
Yeah.
think I think that we might need to do a little flashback here, because when you said it, and you know what what would really be good is to have like a picture of you now and a picture of you then. But let's go back. Let's go back a few years.
Oh,
This
Harriett
was you
Pritchett.
before.
This is your life.
This is your life. Now
Ooh.
tell me what was going on at this point in time in your life.
Right. Well, if you look in the very center, you can see a little baby leg. You can see a little baby booty right there. His little
Yeah.
feet. My son, who's 17 now, but he was only about 6 months old on this picture.
Okay.
So on the, I don't know what your right and my right is going to be, but on my right hand side, this was me like at my baby shower, like 8 months
Really?
pregnant with him. Yeah.
Okay.
And then on the left, this is 6 months after, where the baby weight still had not come off. So that's what's happening in these pictures. But it would be like probably another year and a half before I woke up and realized like I'm not just going to be able to walk around like this. Oh, yeah.
What was happening in this picture right here?
I was still enjoying my my same eating habits. Yeah. So that you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I want to talk about that. Let's talk about, and I'm gonna come back on the screen here. Let's talk about some of the eating habits that were happening during that time. What were you eating, Peach Cobbler?
Wow. And a lot of it. It was so good.
So what happened? So tell me about the Peach Cobbler story.
The thing with that is, it goes back to having information, right? When you know better, you do better. And this is 2004, 2005 timeframe. Think about it. It's pre-iPhone. The internet is there, but it's not, it's not what we have today. And I went my whole pregnancy just out of control with not worrying about weight gain, not worrying about, gestational diabetes, not worrying about blood pressure.
Did you have those challenges, the gestational diabetes and blood pressure?
I had all of it, and I was still living my best life. So what I would do, my cravings, especially late in the, I guess, third trimester, whatever that was, I would bake a peach cobbler, a whole peach cobbler, like the 9x13 size pans, you know what I mean? Like the bigger pan. Ones, the one you make a casserole in.
Yeah. I'm listening. I'm paying attention.
Look, no shame. I would bake it. It would be good. And I would eat the whole thing. Just like I said, living my best life.
In one sitting?
Not in one sitting, maybe over the course of like 2 or 3 days. Like I would.
Okay.
I would work on it.
Okay. All right. See, I again, it reminded me of a joke I made in the last conversation in Ghana. I don't know if you remember the joke.
What was that?
The joke was when we all went to Taptali.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Taptali is a vegan restaurant in Accra. It's in Osu. It is spectacular. I'm telling you, it is. I'm thinking about Taptali. I'll be back in Ghana soon, and the first place I'm going is Taptali. That's right. And I'm going to get the vegetable stroganoff, and it is going down. And that is the first place I'm going. But to your point about being able to consume, that was
Look, it's true. This is my truth. I'm living in my truth, right? Yes, I love to eat. I like good food, and I just have to be conscious and mindful about it when I'm enjoying it. So as not to go back to those old days of the peach cobbler casserole.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do this right here. Okay, here, let's go back. This is back. What pregnancy? I think you said you were 8 months pregnant in one, and then right after you had your son. And all right, and so we're gonna bring it up to today.
Oh my God, where did this come from?
Yeah, see, I'm quick. And so this is what your new lifestyle has done.
Oh, look at us. Look, this is a cry. Oh my God. Such a
Right.
good
So
time.
there you go. So this goes to show, for people who are watching, just to kind of show the difference, and from a health perspective, because I know a lot of people who actually may not be obese or anything, but they're very unhealthy in their lifestyle. And so,
Mm-hmm.
that's something that you can be smaller, but then still be consuming so many things that are not healthy. So just to kind of put that in perspective. With
Yeah.
so with that though, were there any other health challenges that inspired you to take on this new lifestyle? Because I know a lot of times when I talk to people, something happened to say, you know what, I need to do better. Was it? I remember you said initially you were looking at it for weight loss, but then was there anything else that was going on in your life to say, okay, you know what, I need to do a reset, and it was beyond the what was happening with the animals and their cruelty in that industry.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else going on?
So something that I've disclosed for me is how much this diet change has really helped me with my own mental health. So I know I've had periods of time in the past where I've dealt with, mild depression. I mean, and it happens because we live life, we have challenges, we go through struggles, and we come in and out of those phases. And I know for me, prior to this lifestyle changes, those particular times have been worse. So think about after pregnancy, women do go through postpartum depression. I had that really badly. And I didn't recover from it, as quickly as I probably could have.
Okay, you broke up just a little bit right there. You said you did deal with postpartum depression.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know for sure that I dealt with that, and I'm just saying that I didn't recover from that as probably as quickly as I could have. Um, but what I notice now is I don't struggle with those challenges in the same ways that I did before. Like I was talking about, I mean, I said it in a joking way, but just being able to manage your emotions, just being able to be more mindful of things that are happening, of things that you're going through, relationships with people, um, and challenges like that. For me, it's all very different in how I go about that now. So that for me is another thing. Like I think after a period of time, just being self-aware and noticing the difference in yourself. I don't think it's anything that happens overnight, but it's something for me, like over these past 4 years, that I am very sure that there's a difference. And it's not just me. People are telling me like, hey, you're just more, you're a different person. You're just more upbeat. You are more engaged. Um, the way you're handling situations in your life now is different from what I know about you maybe 10 or 15 years ago. So
What would you say? How would you say that? How would you have handled something different back then versus now? Because this is a really good line of conversation, because this goes beyond just food consumption. Now you're going into something that's deeper than that. And I think a lot of
mm-hmm,
people have not even considered this when it comes to diet and how we're influenced by what's in the food. I mean, it could be the chemicals they put in the food, the hormones, it could be a variety of different things. But give me just like a scenario that you might have responded one way previously than what you might have responded today.
mm-hmm.
And
It's the compassion piece. So just in interactions with, I'll take my son because I don't want to. I can talk about him. I don't want to put anybody else on blast.
okay. Oh my, oh my, it's like that. Oh, oh.
Yeah, let me just be safe and say, you have a teenager, right? You have teenagers, right?
I have one left. Yes.
They're in their own world. So me wanting him to keep his room clean, me wanting him to eat dinner by a certain time, communicate with me like when he makes it he's driving now. So when he makes it to the places he's going, I need a text message that says, Mom, I'm okay. He doesn't always do that. He's a teenager. So me coming from a place of compassion now, I'm able to do that count to 10, put myself in his shoes, be firm, but at the same time, like handle him still in a nurturing way. And not my roots of, because I wish you, like, if you're in Houston, then you know what I mean by my South Side, my South Park roots.
I'm trying I'm trying to dive into that a little more. You're very creative in maneuvering. I see you maneuvering, but guess what? I'm gonna come back around from another angle. I'm gonna keep this thing going. So tell me about them.
I'm not cursing him out. I don't need to curse him out.
Okay.
I don't need to scream and holler.
So is that what is so the cursing people out, or if you like put cussing, whichever way you want to go with it, is that something that you have done? Screamed, hollered, cussed, all of that. Is that the old way of dealing with it?
That's the old Harriett.
Okay. And the reason why I say that is because there are a lot of people, I'm telling you, in our culture and in our communities, that is the way they communicate to people. That's just, they don't need very many triggers and they're gone. They're like, this blank, this, that, and that, and they go from 0 to 10, and they might not even be considering that it could be some of the food that they're consuming that's, it might still be there. So now where you might have been, cursing people out 5 times a week, now it's 1.5 times a week.
It's only when they give me a turkey burger and I ordered a black bean veggie burger.
Yeah, I see the finger and everything.
That's it. That's it.
So don't mess with her food and the beans and the veggies. Don't put no meat on there, because that's when it'll come back. Yeah. But I'm glad that you said that, though, because there are my heart is for anyone watching, but in particular the community and the places that I've come from, whether in America, in our culture in America. But then my heart is also to be able to obviously bridge the gap and have the connection in Africa. And I'm seeing a lot of the same dietary habits because of the influence of the Western diet now in Africa, and everywhere I've been in Africa, South Africa, East Africa, North Africa, West Africa. I haven't been to Central yet, but that's coming. So it causes me to at least entertain other perspectives, to say, hey, this could, contribute to or help alleviate some of this diabetes that's going on in our communities, and there's some of this high blood pressure and cancer and a lot of other chronic illnesses that could be linked back to diet in many cases. So so that's the deal. So I'm glad to hear you introduce the mental health perspective, because I think that part we don't think about either. Right. How has it helped you in just with people in general, now that you've mellowed out and now they know the wrath might not be coming quite fast and furious? How do they now respond to this new Harriett?
I think people can respect that. And like I said, I've gotten feedback where people have noticed it. But I also think it makes them interested in what it may be able to help them do. How they might be able to benefit from making these same kind of changes. And I know people really are trying. They really are trying. It just, in my sphere of influence, I know people are trying it on and making it work in their lives. It's not going to be for everybody, and I understand that, and I respect that at the same time. Yeah. So I think people are willing to explore it more. Because they see, and it's not just me. I mean, it's more and more people are looking at this as a potential solution, because a lot of this other stuff is not working. You talked about it, like we know. I mean, it's known that when a doctor or any medical professional goes through school, they don't get as much education or training on nutrition and how nutrition and food can be a part of healing. That's not in their curriculum. And I have friends who are doctors who tell me this. It's like they don't focus on that. I think it's more about the industry and maybe even a little bit of capitalism where, and this is the part where you end up getting censored to say this, but it's more profitable to prescribe a pill, like you said, than it is to cure, fully cure any disease and prevent it
Absolutely.
from happening in the first place. So,
Absolutely. I mean, somebody said, well, why don't they have a cure for the common cold? I said, well, because they make too much money. And it's that's another coronavirus. So why don't that's so why did and there's so many different forms of common cold. So why not just treat the symptoms? Because NyQuil and Tylenol and Dayquil and I go run down the whole list of Alka-Seltzer Cold Plus and all these companies make so much money off of of an illness that you can get seasonally because they know their profits are going to go up. So why cure that?
yeah.
Why cure it? And and that goes along with anything else. Why cure cancer? Because cancer makes so much money, and there are people who can, we can still extract more money from people while they're alive, with the cancer, and we can, the chemical therapies and the all of these different things. I mean, and that's a part of it. So when you said a little bit of capitalism, it's a whole lot of capitalism
I was trying to
attached
be
to it. And I mean, and there's not,
diplomatic.
yeah, it is what it is. I mean, and that's a part of this whole thing when we start thinking about it and the responsibility, not just the responsibility, but the ability for us to take certain things into our own hands and put what we put into our mouths and decide. Now it's tough. Now it's tough because we've been indoctrinated from childhood with sugar. That's been like I think everybody got a sugar addiction.
Yeah.
You try to get away from the sugar. You talk about shaking and withdrawals. I did sugar blues back in '02. I remember I can give you the date and time. Back in '02, I lost all kind of weight. I'm shaking. I'm looking at the stuff and I'm saying, put a little bit of honey, just a little bit of honey in that. No honey. I'm sitting over here like I couldn't wait for them 30 days to be over. I was done. I was like, I think I lost like 30 pounds. And I mean,
Wow.
that first taste of sugar was like, whew. So from childhood, my point is from childhood, we have been conditioned with certain types of food, sugar being number one.
Hmm.
I firmly believe it, whether it be just like the taste of sugar or it be foods that we eat, high carbs that turn into sugar.
Turn into sugar,
So
yes.
with the
Hmm.
with like the corn flakes and the rice and all of that, the breads.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that goes into a lifestyle adjustment. But I think what I appreciate about your story is that you talk about how that you went from one phase of it and then they could see that phase in the pictures that
Hmm.
we showed, but then developing a new mindset. And I think that's the part because what I'm finding difficult, and you maybe will elaborate some of this, when it comes to trying to teach people who have been eating a particular way for 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years or more to say, okay, now you mean to tell me I got to give up my pork chops, my fried chicken, my steak, say what? And they're going to give me a pill and I can control this. And you mean to tell me I mean, what has your experience been like have you had to deal with any of that?
Yeah, that's actually I feel like it's the next big hurdle to climb because I won't take anything away from the fact that food is a social glue, right? Like it's tied into our traditions, it's tied into our culture, it's tied into how we relate to people and connect with them. So I totally get that. And when you start trying to introduce a new way of doing things, like for example, eliminating meat or maybe even sugar or alcohol, that's another big one from your day-to-day lifestyle, you're asking people to do a lot. And sometimes it's too much. Now, what I'll say is, I, my mother and, her siblings, their sort of age group, it's like, I know that they have the awareness and maybe they have the willingness, but not saying them specifically, but that is very hard for them to change, because that's how they were raised. They were raised to eat certain foods. They were raised to bring people together around food. And you like you said, you're not going to take away my ham hocks and my chicken and steak, smothered
Ham and
steak.
bacon, ham and bacon. I'm just throwing things in here to just make that ham and that bacon, and I said pork chops already. Okay, I'll leave it there. That's enough. I think that's yeah.
Well, and it's that, but then it's also like with dairy, it's so hard because you need dairy. People think you need dairy to have your baked goods and have that good old macaroni and cheese, which I love. I love macaroni and cheese, but you can make it without the dairy. So when it comes to around the holidays, it's a very touchy subject. Like, here they come, here the vegans come with all of their alternatives and their modifications on our traditional Christmas and Thanksgiving meals. It's a tough conversation to have, and the example is good, but it doesn't always get people to change over completely.
Yeah, again, I think that this is a really good conversation, and I think that and I'm glad that we've had the opportunity to have this conversation again. When you were talking, I wrote a note here that even for many people, from a spiritual level, they don't see the benefit of eliminating meat because they say, according to their religious book, that they have been given dominion over the earth and everything in the earth, and to be able to do whatever they want to do and to be able to eat it. And they don't see, they even see in their book where people would, I guess, sacrifice different animals or eat different things. And, so from that perspective, I think that's even an area where people are, holding on to that particular philosophy or ideology, so it's many. My point is that it's many layers to it. It's not just a matter of, okay, stop eating meat. It's okay, it's traditional. For some people it's spiritual. For some people it's just habit, and they're haven't even considered it. But I think what the good part about it, and like I told you before, I say, oh, y'all surrounding me, I don't know what's going on here. It's like, y'all, now I'm conscious of it. Every time I'm sitting there, I'm like, all right. Like, I went to Chipotle yesterday.
Oh, yes. Love Chipotle.
And I did a plant-based Chipotle situation. I was like, I said, let me find out. They get me. I said, but what I forget what the thing is called. It's whatever the thing is, but it was good. It was yeah, it's a bowl. It's some like plant-based thing that's like fake you out like it's meat. And,
yeah.
right.
It's the soy-based chorizo.
I don't know what it is. It was something that they put in there. It was plant. They called it. They advertised it as plant based, and I said, well, let me try this. Because I'm telling you, I have talked to at least seven people who are plant based. Yes, and so it has. And I'm observing. I'm that person that's observing, and I'm not a heavy meat person like that anyway. So I'm not. I mean, if I do, I mean, I'm like a once a year type. My problem is sweet potato pies. You got peach cobbler.
Yeah.
I put down. I think I put down like 20 sweet potato pies. One between like it was something insane. It was
all
really,
right. Put the picture up.
Oh no!
Flashback.
You'll never get. Here's the thing about me. This is what troubles people that went to high school with me and have known me for like 30 years. They're like, well, wait a minute. What's going on here? How is it that you have not, like, I think the largest I've ever been was like 240. And that's when I was like in the gym and I was, bulking up. And there was one point in time I was bulking up. And so that's where that came from. I can drop weight like it's nothing. I can go from 225 to 205 in a week and a half.
Wow.
Yeah. And what I do is to get rid of sugar. What
I
I
was
have
going to ask
found,
you what you do.
what I have found is that for me, if I want to regulate my weight, I'll do intermittent fasting. I control my calories and I reduce the sugar. And if
There you
I want to
go.
drop it just like that, when I climbed Kilimanjaro, I lost 20 pounds on Kilimanjaro. Yeah. Yeah.
That,
Yes. So
wow.
that's a little secret for somebody who wants to know. You want to lose weight, get rid of the sugar. I promise you, you take
Right.
sugar out of your diet. Now you
Right.
might be shaking and all kind of stuff to the finish line. You might be going through all of this, but you'll get to the finish line and it'll be
Yeah.
all good. So,
That's
but
good though. Sugar is another silent, it's another one of those silent killers. And then it's just about awareness. You're right. And it's in everything.
yeah, even in the research that I've done, when it's come to sugar, sugar contributes to the high blood pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the
Mm-hmm.
part. Everybody's eliminating salt, but they're not eliminating the sugar. And so then with the sugar, you discover the insulin resistance, and then how it taxes the pancreas, and then that's
Right.
when the cholesterol forms in the arteries and stuff, and then it's just like it gets the sugar is a really interesting. I need to do a talk on the sugar. It's just that I don't want to be hypocritical. Because I still love it. I don't want to be sitting there. Y'all leave that sugar
Mm-hmm.
alone, and I be sitting with a
Mm-hmm.
little sugar pack. I got my little candy bar right here. I don't want to be that guy.
You got it. It's like right there on the
But you notice it
side.
has not been eaten. This is a prop. This is my Ghanaian chocolate.
Oh,
It is a
okay, okay.
prop. So, but no, I got a stash around here. I got a stash on the other side up top. That if it hits me, then I'll. But any words of encouragement for people who may have heard this conversation, and I mean, because I know that your Instagram, the color is green.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the pictures are phenomenal pictures. I mean, really inspirational pictures as far as growing your own food. A dear friend of mine, Dr. Kenya Greer in Atlanta, what she's doing is teaching students how to grow their own food. So you have an emphasis on growing food.
I do. So the color is green is my vision, right? Lifestyle brand that would help promote all of this, right? Help promote healthy eating, help promote fitness, juicing as a part of that, and then also gardening. Because I really feel like, those are the key components for us to be living a vibrant, prosperous, a happy life. So what I want to do with that is continue building it. I mean, I share it as a personal blog, but again, it's reaching some people and it's starting a conversation and building a community around that, because I think that's what's needed, and it's what I can do, at this point in time. So my vision for that is to keep building community and build a brand around, educational, events and, products where people can just keep learning and sharing about this, because it really does, come down to us taking our health into our own hands, and making a way for the future in that. So that's my Instagram page is the start to that. I've written a juice recipe book. I mean, and it's there, and done some events like in Houston, around, showing people what I did and what I know others do that have worked for them with juice fast. And because it was the kickstart for me, so it's like, of course I go back to that, like, yeah, if you want to change your life, do a juice fast. That's
I,
kind of
I just, like I said, my thing is just a starvation for 4 or 5 days or however. In my mind, I'm like a juice fast. I'm drinking juice, and I can get through a 24. I've done a 48-hour fast before with nothing but water.
see, there you go.
Nah, but you talking about? You said you did a 5 day.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. I'm. I, that's what I'm saying. I watch everybody's example, and then because I'm the curious type. I said I'll sit there and try it. I said, well, let me see
Mm.
if I can hold on. I mean, because by then I'm sure I would have lost 10 pounds. I know me. I drop. I'm telling you, I drop weight. If I'm on a juice fast and I'm not eating anything, then it's the weight's just falling off just because the body's saying we need to do something. So is that did you lose weight on the juice fast?
I do lose weight on a juice fast, but I gain it back. And again, what weight loss is there and it's attainable, but I'm really looking for more for that opportunity of resetting my body, resetting my taste buds, clearing out the cravings, giving my digestive system a chance to rest.
Hmm.
And that builds up energy for other detoxification in the body. I mean, it's this whole process that happens. And when you come to the end of it, you know that there's been that change. So I try to do it. I keep saying I'm going to do it quarterly, but these past 4 years, it's always been in January. I call it going back to the well. Like, this is my chance to reset, and this is how I kick my year off. This is how I set my intentions for what I want to be able to do throughout the year. So
And I
yeah.
like that from a positive perspective because, again, I'm being a little jokey, about the juice, starving, but really from a
Mm-hmm.
positive perspective, how it allows you to reset the mental clarity, the physical clarity. And when you said giving your digestive system a chance to rest,
Yes.
that right there stuck with me because our organs probably work overtime from the day we are born. And that probably contributes to some of our longevity or the lack thereof because
Yep.
they're just working. The liver's working constantly, 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 and overtime trying to process, filter
Yep.
out whatever, impurities in the body. The pancreas working constantly. I would, what I think I would do is something like that, and then do a blood work test. Do blood work test on the front end of it,
Mm-hmm.
and then after the day, then do blood work test on the back end of it, and see how the body has responded to that because now it's had a chance to filter out a lot of whatever's in there that doesn't need to be in there, and then it has a chance to reset. And if you're doing juices, the nutrients are going straight into the bloodstream
Yep.
because of the juice factor,
Right.
and so now it's getting proper nutrients, and then it's having this ability to say, okay, this is what healthy looks like. Am I saying this the right way?
You're saying it beautifully, and I want to just I just want to put the punctuation on and say you wonder why somebody who does that can have such a good attitude because your whole body on the cellular level is happy, like thank you.
I
So
get it now. I get it now. I just got to work up the strength to be able to do this. I gotta, I gotta. Oh my lord, that's
even one day, I mean, it doesn't have to be extreme, like
I'm
five
I'm
days is
I'm
a
an
lot.
extreme type person. If you haven't figured out, I'm extreme. When I do, whenever
Oh
I do
yeah.
something, I'm extreme. So and one day would be like that's child's play. Give me the 5 day. Let's do this.
Let's
Can I
do the
do 10?
5 day.
Right, right.
Oh.
Let's do the 10 day. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But I'm gonna have to do this because this platform, what I try to do is offer perspectives and offer solutions. So that's what I'm thinking in terms like that. Is this an alternative? Again, I'm not knocking anybody's choice for whatever they decide to do with their lives,
Right.
but is this something that can be done? And if I can do it, like I'll share my blood work, then y'all be all in my business. Then y'all know all my stuff, all my triglycerides and whatever, whatever else. Yeah. Well, I don't know what the vitamin D. I do not have vitamin D deficiency, so just so
Oh, well, good.
that's a good step,
Yeah.
But I learned from looking at my previous blood work. I saw where that was a problem because I wasn't getting out in the sun, and then it wasn't coming through. I guess enough through whatever I was consuming. So I modified, and so now my vitamin D is good. But I'm gonna come back to this juice fast. Send me the details of it, and send me a list of.
I'll send you my recipe book and you can read, you can get the grocery shopping list. You can get the instructions for like the pre-fast, during the fast, and then after the fast. And then there's 25 recipes in there that you can pick and choose from. Some of them are not going to be like your top favorite, just depending on what kind of fruits and vegetables you really like. But yeah, I'll send you that.
Yeah,
Maybe you
send me that.
can,
Then what I'll do is we can come back
yeah.
after I do this.
And share your share your blood work. I know there's HIPAA and all that privacy and everything, but wouldn't that be something? We share a lot. I mean, in general, we share a lot about ourselves on social media, what
I
we're
don't mind sharing
doing,
my
where
blood
we're
work.
at. And I'm saying this for me, like, yeah, you're right. I'll tell you my blood pressure, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, I don't have a problem sharing my blood work. I mean, it's if it can help someone, and if we see, how about this, if we run the blood work and we say, okay, there's a challenge, there's a problem, and then I do something and make a lifestyle change, and then we see it change, that's something tangible that someone can hold on to. I'm not giving medical advice, I'm just sharing, this is what I did.
Right.
I cut this out, and here's the struggle that I had. This is what I like. This is what's contributing to it.
Mm-hmm.
I know that my biggest struggle is the sugar. I know it. I don't have to eat meat. Meat is not my issue. I don't
Yeah.
have to touch. I don't have to touch a. I've done meatless before.
Yeah.
So I know. I mean, but the sugar is the devil.
It's the devil. Yeah, it is.
The
It
sugar is
is.
the devil. That's the one. That's the one right there. The sugar is the.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it'll call me from anywhere. That's what I
Jay.
tell people. They talk about cocaine and all that. I was like, put some sugar out there. See, well, take sugar off of people to watch how they start acting. So you want to
Right.
see something go down, and so that's real. But you know what? It's something I also, when I encounter people who are health conscious, it's an internal conviction. It's like we know what we need to do,
Right.
and I know that I would not struggle with letting go of meat. That's not mine. Is the sugar, and I
Mm.
think honestly that is where many people are, because if we can find um foods, well, you know what I appreciated about the Tale was that I was able to go there and not. I think it is the absolute healthiest vegan or plant based restaurant that I have been to that offered that type of variety. Because I
Mm-hmm.
know some spots that are good, but by the time you get down to that sugar,
It's like I might as well be eating
I
whatever
might as well
else
go
I
get me
was.
a Wendy's triple with the stuff oozing all off the side. By the time the sugar component kicks in, because it was. I've been to a couple places. Now that spot that you recommended I go to in Atlanta was good. That was good. So they were
Oh, the
on point.
Wadata. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, they were good. So I checked them out. Someone else I interviewed named Nashiki Chandler, she recommended some raw plant-based restaurants I gotta try out. I was
Where are
like,
those in Atlanta?
in Atlanta, yes, yes. So I'll
Oh,
share that.
nice.
Yeah, she broke it down. I was like, oh my. All right. So we see what's happening here. All right, so here's the deal. This to be continued. I'm going to put myself in these situations. I get to run in my mouth. Here we go. Notice everybody, I'm pausing and I'm rocking. So that means that there's some
What
sort
is
of
that?
I got the Stevie Wonder happening right now.
You building up.
I got some rocket happening because so what I'm gonna do. All right, I'm going to get that recipe from you. The
Okay.
recipes. Oh my god.
You got this, Jay. You got
Yeah,
this.
I know, and I'm gonna try the. How long was the fat juice fast you just did?
I just did a 5-day fast.
Did you ever get hungry?
Yes.
Okay,
I got
it must have been real hungry. You must have been starved because
they,
that face you made just now.
I'll tell you this: the first day is the worst. So if you can make it through day one
I
and the
can do that.
first half of day two,
Yeah, I can do
you're
that.
good, because
Oh, okay.
that's all the time it takes for your body to adjust. We can see our bodies are so just incredible in how we can adapt
Yeah,
really to
yeah,
anything.
I believe it.
So yeah.
And I can drink as much of the juice as I want.
Mhm. You
So I can just
can.
literally have a big old thing of juice and just. I'm just trying to figure out how to, how to make this work. So
How
it's
you
not like
gonna
it's not like just one glass of juice every 6 hours. I could drink.
no.
Oh,
Here-
okay.
you're drinking 16 ounces of fruit or vegetable juice once every 2 hours. And in between that, you drink as much water as you can. Because I will tell you, I like to give the positive and some of the drawbacks.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can
yeah.
go and look up juice fasting, and there are people who are opposed to it. And they say, well, some of the downsides of juice fasting is that you can become dehydrated, or you can become, your system can stop moving the way that it needs to move, if you know what I mean.
Okay. Okay. All right.
So there's a fiber issue, but there's soluble and insoluble
Oh,
fiber.
gotcha.
So it's not really, I mean, you are
But
going
it
to
seems like
have.
if you're drinking juice, it ain't, don't. I'm that guy. I'm that guy. I am that guy. It seems like what it would seem like to me is
Hey,
that it won't matter. But but, but it's
our
juice.
the length of our intestines, small and large, is
Mhm.
now of course I'm going to gap on the actual number, but it's very long, but it's wrapped up into our
Yeah, yeah.
body.
Packed in a little, yeah.
So it's a lot that you might need to be
Deal with.
eliminated.
Deal
So
with.
you think 5 days and there's nothing left to give, but there's more to give.
Well, how about if somebody goes and they just like take care of all of that before they're fasting? If they just go ahead and get it all taken care of, can they do that?
I would be interested to see what the results there are, because I mean,
I don't
they
want to see
could.
anything, but I just I believe. I believe.
I'm sitting next to a coffee bar, and this lady
I know
is
they're trying
like,
to figure out who in the world, what in the world is she talking about over there. But I think what I'm saying is that I'm always up for a challenge.
okay,
This is a challenge, I think, on the level of Mount Kilimanjaro.
wow.
As far as mental, physical, no, because you're denying yourself something.
Sure.
Self-denial is probably the biggest challenge that we have in a culture, in a consumption culture. Our culture consumes everything without it. Our portion sizes are massive. So for us to deny ourselves something takes a different level of internal fortitude and discipline that our culture does not encourage. So that's what I'm saying when it comes to a mental. All right, everybody. I'm talking to Harriett Pritchett, and The Color is Green is where you can find her on IG. We've been talking about her journey as a plant-based lifestyle advocate, a vegan. We shared her pictures from when she was during her pregnancy and how she consumed a whole 9 by 13 pan of peach cobbler, and what that all represented. We saw and we saw what she looked like back then, and then we see the transformation as she's adopted this new lifestyle. And here's a shot when she was in Ghana. And so that she's also been a part of our maximum impact travel experiences, and she's going to continue. She's going to be on another one of our tours coming up, so I think that's really cool. But Harriet, again, this is to be continued. I think you'll probably be a regular contributor here on Maximum Impact with Jay Cameron, especially once you get me to sharing my blood work
Yeah,
and the juice fasting and all of that. And yeah,
you got this.
I
You got
got
this.
this. I
Yeah.
got this. All right, everybody, listen. Be sure to follow Harriet. Again, it's at The Color is Green. Learn about her journey, learn about her mission, and all of what she's doing to help encourage us to have healthier lifestyles and to be more productive in all of what we're doing, learning how to grow our own foods. And also, you can probably reach out to her and see how you can get that juice fasting recipe book, because, yeah. But I'll be talking about it. So, and you'll be seeing me. You'll just say, wow, you lost 20 pounds in 5 days. Say, hey, yeah. Juice Fast. That's Harriet Juice Fast got me all.
We're gonna ask you, but how do you feel though? How do you feel?
That's the
And
key.
that's the answer that I'm looking forward to hearing. How you feel after you do that.
And I look forward to being able to share it and inspire others. So again, Harriet, listen, have a safe flight back to H Town,
Yes.
and we again to be continued.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the conversation and for everything you do. Really, you inspire so many people, and I admire that and appreciate you having me here to talk with you.
Open up your eyes and see all the fun and mystery. Take an African adventure with Darren and Destiny. From the mountains to the shore, so many things to explore. Take an African adventure with Darren and Destiny.
The Adventures of Darren and Destiny. And Darren and Destiny are twin brother and sister. And you go on their adventures throughout the African diaspora, meaning so African diaspora destinations, primarily focused in Africa, but we go to South America, we're going to go to the Caribbean. Their first book is going to take you to Ghana. And then we're going to go on a safari. And from there, we're going to go to Ethiopia. And then we go to Salvador, Brazil. And what the goal is to be able to inspire curiosity in the continent of Africa in our children from a very young age, and to really tell a more accurate story. Most of our children are exposed to negative images, late night infomercials about how bad things are, everybody's sick, everybody's poor, everyone's uneducated, but that's simply not true. So what Darren and Destiny and their family do is they go to different African destinations. They are learning about these different places. You're beginning to see positive images, but still telling the truth. I mean, that's the important thing, to tell the truth about some of the things that have occurred. But it's all done on a children's level so they begin to understand it. And it begins to pique their curiosity. They begin to learn more. And hopefully one day they will want to explore and visit the continent of Africa and its many countries. There's just so much that Darren and Destiny are able to do, and as they're doing it, it's like they begin to open the minds of a new generation, and they don't get bombarded and indoctrinated with negativity. They're actually able to see positivity and inspiring images and messages about the African diaspora, as well as those who are still indigenous to the continent of Africa, and they begin to learn more and just see things differently. So I'm excited about introducing the Adventures of Darren and Destiny.